And welcome back to the Spook House, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. My name is Phil, and tonight I have a very special guest. There's no other person that I'd rather spend my last night as a 36-year-old man discussing the Halloween series with than my friend Justin from Epic Film Guys.
How sweet of you, my friend. Phil, you're such a sweet guy. Seriously, that's
I mean
a nice thing to say.
If somebody was like, what do you want to do for your birthday? I want to talk about the Halloween series.
Holy shit, dude. Well, happy fucking birthday, bro. That's amazing. God.
Yeah, we are going to talk 15 top kills. I have a list. You have a list. We don't know what's on each other's list.
That's really exciting, too. Very, very exciting.
Yeah, it is. And I'm sure we'll kind of jump around the entire franchise. I'm very curious to see where this goes. Well, I guess without further ado, we can just go ahead and jump into it. Justin, you are my guest, so why don't you kick it off for us?
Absolutely. I mean, this is something that I would say is near and dear to my heart. The Halloween franchise and the kills, of course, are one of the main things that we as Halloween fans love about the franchise. So I will hope that your audience will enjoy all of my picks, or if they don't, they can come tell me to fuck off on social media at Epic Film Guys, wherever you want to find me. But I will start with my number 15 kill, Nurse Janet, stabbed in the eye, hypodermic needle.
Halloween 2?
Halloween 2 by Rick Rosenthal. It's the literal kill, Phil, that Tommy Lee Wallace saw on the script, and that was what made him say, fuck that, I'm not directing that movie.
I do remember that, yeah, because the first one, as we all know, is not very gory, and Halloween 2 is more of a straight-up slasher.
Absolutely. And that kill, the way that it's framed, the way that it's shot, the intensity of it, even though now, as an adult, I know how it was filmed and the tricks that they used to make it feel intense, but I still love it, that the eyeball bulging.
Great kill. I think I like the lead up to it more than the actual kill, because if I'm not mistaken, that's the only time in Halloween 2 where we get the classic coming out of the shadows.
That's true.
Shot of Michael.
And that's funny that you mentioned that, Phil. When Rick Rosenthal did the special features for the original Scream Factory Blu-ray box set, he mentioned that scene as, in his own words, trying to do something that hadn't been done or something new and fresh in comparison to the first movie. And I was like, motherfucker, did you not watch the first movie where he comes out of the fucking room and Dean Cundy lights it so lightly with the blue light that you could just barely see the mask? You did the exact same thing.
I thought you were talking about the needle itself. He's kind of took credit for the coming out of the shadows thing?
He was talking about, with the way that you finally, the build up to seeing Michael Myers coming out of the shadows, which, like I said, is identical to the way that Dean Cundy lit it and shot it in the first movie. I do love both. They're both amazing. And I think it's a great homage to what we saw in the first movie. And we don't really see that anywhere else, really, that I can put my finger on throughout the entire franchise after that, where like they use low light to just slowly bring that image of the shape and the mask out of the darkness, out of the shadows.
Halloween 4. There's a very subtle one when Deputy Logan is like just chilling in his rocking chair, and his mask comes out of the shadow.
Right.
I probably watched that movie like 20 times before I caught that. It's so subtle, but I love it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. So you corrected me. I was incorrect there. I will say the impact of that image is probably stronger in the first two Halloweens than it is in Halloween 4. But no, absolutely. They nailed it for sure. So,
hey, 2018, when Jamie Lee Curtis comes out of the shadows. Happy Halloween, Michael.
Of course.
Courage.
Of course.
Yeah.
I listen. I'll be honest right off the bat here. I straight up tried to include only kills of bad against good here. So if there are good kills in the franchise that are good against bad, then I did not include them, even though I love them. So
Hey, I might have some 2018 kills in here.
oh, I
There's
definitely
there's some
there's a
good ones.
possibility. There's a possibility.
Okay.
So
Fair
what
enough.
is your number 15, my friend?
Okay. I wanted to go ahead and include this kill and this movie to get it out of the way. It is not in the rest of the list, but I do like this kill. I am talking about Rob Zombie's Halloween, Ken Foree versus Michael Myers in the bathroom. I got to give the movie that.
Let this beast pass in peace.
Yeah. I like that Tyler Mane and Ken Foree just straight up destroyed an actual bathroom. That scene has some good intensity.
Absolutely. I think
But-
it's one of the best scenes in his fucking movie, dude.
Yeah.
And the build up to it, I mean, it is slightly silly seeing Tyler Mane's like Frankensteinish fucking Michael Myers walking with the mask on and his shitty ass he's basically wearing rags,
Yeah.
you know, but he's just in there like fucking taking a massive dump. Like, what's cooler than that than seeing a kill where a dude's literally got a turd hanging out of his ass?
Reading a porno mag because
I know,
Rob
right?
Zombie.
It's a Rob Zombie movie, so what else would he be doing other than actually physically jacking off? It's the closest thing you would see, right?
I'm surprised he wasn't. I mean, let me ask you this, Justin.
Sure.
Did you watch that movie opening day, August 31st, 2007?
Oh my God, my friend. So that day is very much still a strong memory in my brain
Same
because
here.
I took the day off from work and I saw the first screening at my local AMC Lowe's. It was like an 11:30 a.m. screening. They did not hold any midnight screenings for Rob Zombie's Halloween in my town. We had two theaters in Binghamton, New York. There's still only two theaters. There's the AMC Lowe's and there's the Regal on Front Street. Neither of them had a midnight showing, whereas the Marcus Nispel Friday the 13th remake had a midnight showing. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake had a midnight showing. Halloween did not. So I was like, I'm taking the fucking day off. I'm absolutely taking the day off. And I went and saw it. And I watched it by myself. And I remember specifically calling my ex-drummer, Brian Powell, on the phone, who was the biggest Halloween fan that I knew, and asking him, please tell me, why didn't I like that movie?
Yeah, I tried to convince myself that I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it ended, I was like, okay, not bad. And then I was like, no, it can't. I didn't just see that. And then the reality hit me like, what the fuck was that, man?
That was back before I looked at films from a critical perspective in the way that I do now. Even though now I think I tend to appreciate the movie more than I did then, in retrospect, because we've had, 4 more Halloween movies since then. But what happened the following week, not to go off on a tangent or anything like that, is that my friend Brian Powell got his hands on a bootleg while the new Halloween was out in theaters, a bootleg of his original cut of the movie.
Oh yeah, I heard
And
about
I watched
that.
it with
Yeah.
the original ending, with like that panning up shot of Myers dead on the ground, the spinning up shot, the overhead shot, without all the crazy smashing through the walls stuff. And I was like, man, I liked that movie way better and would have preferred it. I probably would have liked that movie a lot better had that been the one I saw in theaters. But I understood what happened. The Weinsteins, which everyone hates saying that name now.
Sure.
They saw the original cut. They said, here's a bunch of more money. Go make it crazier. Go make it more Rob Zombie. And he did. And I think it hurt the movie in the long run. But yeah, that was a very memorable day for me. I was all by myself and had no one to talk to about it.
I do remember that Hot Topic. They dropped like the poster, the shirt, the soundtrack.
I have the shirt.
That
I
all
wore the shirt, man. I wore
that
the shirt
all
to the
came
screening.
out like
Yeah.
a few weeks before the movie. So I
Yep.
was like, fuck yeah, I'm buying everything.
Yeah.
I gave all that away to like a friend of mine that liked the movie. I was like, here, I don't even want this. Just
It
take
was so crazy because I championed that thing. I thought the trailers looked amazing. Up until that point, I liked House of a Thousand Corpses and I really enjoyed The Devil's Rejects. So
Same.
who was I? And I was a White Zombie fan as a kid. So I had
Same.
full confidence, man. I followed all the production,
all the MySpace posts.
all the MySpace stuff,
Yep.
and all the interviews. Of course, I was like, yes, this is going to be it. So I don't know if I've ever been more let down up until that point. I'll say that.
Yeah, and I know it has its fans. I'm sure a lot of people listening right now love it.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't get it, but hey, you like what you like. All right, Justin. What is your number 14 pick?
Oh, God. So this one you might enjoy. You might actually like this one.
Okay.
This is Jamie Lloyd butchered on the farm machinery in the barn.
Number 14?
Halloween 6,
Okay.
The Curse of Michael Myers. The reason why this is so low is because
it's controversial.
It's controversial, and it kind of sucks to see the Jamie Lloyd character go out like this. It is J.C. Brandy. It is not Danielle Harris. Had this been Danielle Harris, had she agreed, had they paid her fee, all that stuff we all know about as fans.
Sure.
Had she got paid her fee and agreed to this, it would have been even more devastating. It probably wouldn't even be on my list because it would not have been fair to the character in any way. But since it was J.C. Brandy as Jamie, and at the time I didn't give a shit, and I still don't really give a shit now.
Yeah, I don't really make that connection whenever I watch it.
It doesn't feel like that at all to me whatsoever. And we know the story, you know, what happened behind the scenes. Danielle emancipated herself from her fucking parents just so she could be a part of the production. She paid thousands of dollars to do it. And then, of course, you know, the production wanted to pay her scale, which would not even have paid her back all those fees. And she didn't care for the perspective of how they were going to treat the Jamie Lloyd character in the final draft that she read. So she had said, fuck it, I'm out of here. And then, of course, we got J.C. Brandy, who in the long run, she does a very good job with what she's given. No one can hate her. Fans can't hate someone for taking a role. If she wasn't going to take it, somebody else was going to take it. And I think she gives a solid performance for the 15, 20 minutes that she's in, both the producer's cut and the theatrical cut in which this kill is in. But as a kid, Phil, this was one of my favorite Halloween movies, and this kill was one of my favorite fucking kills, and I looked forward to it every single time because I owned this on VHS as a kid. I bought it from my local video store in the clear plastic case with just the slip around it. They had it like on sale or something, and I was able to buy it. So I watched Halloween 6 a shit ton as a kid, and I love how mean-spirited and brutal it is. I love how he just throws her. I don't even know what the fuck that machine is.
It's a corn thresher.
A corn thresher?
Yes.
Well, that corn thresher looked very violent.
Dude, yeah, when he... well, let's kind of talk about the scene that this kill takes place in when she's in the barn. I love those shots of the lightning flashes.
Very atmospheric, yeah.
Totally. And when he throws her on the machine, that shot... when it pans over, he just looks so fucking evil with that lighting on the mask.
And I've said this before. I love the 6 mask. I fucking love it. It looks great in this lighting. It doesn't look as flattering in some of the other scenes in part 6 because they have it in like really bright lighting. But they do have those grays and blues that John Carl Buechler made sure were a part of the mask. So those accents show up even better in the shadows with like the lighting on it. And yeah, and then of course he stands there and watches her as she's suffering, and then just slides her deeper onto it. As a young kid, early teenage kid, I was like, "Fuck yeah!" You know, like it was just one of those moments where you got excited. So this absolutely had to be on my list. I mean, it's one of the most brutal of the franchise.
Yeah, I was hyped for it as a kid, and as a grown-ass adult, I'm still like, fuck yeah. Great kill.
Yeah. Kill her. Slide her down deeper.
And while all valid points about Danielle Harris, Jamie Lloyd, she's a beloved character, but the fact that she is, and this is how she dies, it just reinforces the fact that Michael is so fucking pissed off and evil in this movie.
We know this behind the scenes, my friend. This is a Weinstein thing. They were like,
Yeah.
make it more fucking violent, make it scarier, make it have them fucking kill people in more intense ways. Fuck it, let's do it. You know, this was not anyone behind the camera or the director Joe Chappelle or any of those people, Daniel Farrens. None of them had the idea. They weren't like, yeah, we're gonna do this. They all wanted to make like a legit Halloween movie. This is technically the farthest thing from a Halloween movie, but I don't give a shit. I still love it.
Yeah, but I actually agree with the reshoots for this movie. I mean, the producer's cut kill of this scene, Michael just stabs her in the stomach, and then she's shot in the head by the man in black.
Yeah, I don't.
Lame.
I've gone out on record plenty of times, my friend. I looked forward to the producer's cut for, I think, the majority of my life. And when I finally saw it, I was like, I still like the theatrical better.
Yeah, I mean, there's elements of both that I prefer.
Sure.
But overall, I enjoy the theatrical more.
Yeah, I do too. From an entertainment level, absolutely.
Sure.
So what is your number 14 kill, my friend?
Well, this might be the only appearance of this movie on the list.
Ooh.
But well, it might be on yours, but I'm going to go Halloween Kills. The guy's name is Phil, the one that's like flying the little drone. And this is when Michael is just stabbing him in the back, turning around, picking up a different knife, stabbing him in kind of a childlike way. And I thought it was a clever, subtle way to show us what's going on inside Michael's mind. Because throughout the series, he kind of fucks with people and sets up these little traps and throws on a ghost sheet and things like that. But this was one of the only times we kind of saw the inner workings of his mind, almost childlike, like, ooh, what knife do I want to use? So I just think it's cool.
I think that's a fantastic kill for sure. I mean, I'll say this much. Our listeners already know, and your listeners will now be fully educated on the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of the David Gordon Green Halloween movies outside of the 2018 film. But I will say the one thing that they nailed in all three of the movies for the most part are the kills. And there are some very memorable kills. And it's very clear to me that that was a very large focus of those movies in terms of the creative and who was sitting there at the, I would say the suits at the table, or whoever was sitting there with Danny McBride and Daniel Gordon Green and everyone. They were like, it has to be intense. Like everyone, you know, I don't know if Jason Blum had a lot to do with it, but the kills are great. So I can't take anything away from them there.
How do you feel about the flashback stuff? I actually love it. I mean, hey, if somebody says, hey, that's corny, that's fucking dumb, I'd be like, okay, I get it. But however, when I watch it back, you could tell that they did their homework. They went to the Dean Cundy School of Cinematography. Like some of those shots are on point.
They did, my friend. But at the same time, I think I told you this before when we were talking like randomly on the side or whatever. Dean Cundy's alive. Just get him and bring him there. I know he consulted. Apparently he consulted. That's what I was told.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do that shit.
The dude's a legend, man, right? And I will agree with you. I do think that they, for the most part, nailed it in terms of the aspect ratio.
The mask,
the look of it, the feel of it. The tone of it was off. The tone was off. It didn't feel like 78 Halloween to me, but everything else was perfect. And also, I'm pretty positive, correct me if I'm wrong, David didn't shoot on 35 millimeter. So it has that digital sheen to it, which also,
Sure.
Yeah. The original Halloween movies, even when you watch them on 35 or, when I screen them in 4K at Alamo Drafthouse, even in like the pristine new restoration, they still look like they were shot on film. So that's just like me nitpicking or whatever. But I will agree with you. They did a journeyman's job in making that look accurate.
You don't like the Loomis cameo? Did Michael kill again?
Michael!
Sheriff Hawkins, what happened here?
It was a caricature, and I think we could have done without it. The makeup, I thought the makeup job was fantastic. It looked a lot like him.
Yeah.
Sounded enough like him. And I do prefer the route they took over CGI. I swear to God, when we first saw it, Jeremy, from my show, from Epic Film Guys, was like, oh, it's CG. I'm like, no, dude, that's makeup. That's Chris Nelson makeup. Like, that's absolutely like fucking makeup. And then, forgive me, I forget the name of the actor they cast. Now that dude's doing conventions.
Yeah, apparently he was on the film crew, and it was just sort of a joke, like, hey, Dr. Loomis, what's up? And then they were like, hey, do you just want to play this part? So
that's how it usually works, though, right? I mean,
yeah.
And props to him. I don't think he did a poor job or anything like that. But for me, I would have just preferred not to see him. But I get what they're trying to do. Star Wars has done it. I mean, every other fucking franchise has done it at this point. Like, let's bring back people that are dead. So I'm not one to complain. Yeah. I thought it was perfectly fine. So.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to lie. When I saw it for the first time in the theaters and you hear Loomis first, I was like, oh, no, they're not. What's this? I was like, what the fuck? Loomis? Get out of here.
Unfortunately for me, I already knew that was happening before I saw the movie. So...
Well, this is still when, I mean, like I said, I liked the movie up to this point, so I was hyped because I didn't know that Evil Dies Tonight was going to be coming after this.
Oh, God.
I wish the whole movie took place in 78. Keep this aesthetic.
And that's what the television show apparently is supposed to be, if that ever fucking happens. I mean, that's what we're told.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I think that news came out in, March, April?
It's been a while. And
yeah.
You know what, though? I'll say this much about the show. That makes me happy because the main thing that I said in regards to that news on our show and on social media was give this shit time to breathe. Give us at least 3 years in between them.
Yes.
In between the last Halloween movie and the show, if you're going to do a show. And they're sticking to that. So that's a good thing. I think Malik is very smart when it comes to the franchise. He is following in his father's footsteps. And he knows the best way to get people excited about something is to let them breathe and give them time to wait for the shape to return. So
I feel like they shouldn't have even announced that. Like, oh,
the show?
No, like, well, yeah.
Well,
like once you get it going, okay, maybe throw something out, but it's like, oh, this studio bought the rights. We're going to do a show. It's just like, hey,
that's
Halloween.
Just the trades. That's just the trades, man. They're going to, I mean, if there's a big property up like that, regardless of direction, they're going to, it's almost like the stock market. And especially with something as big as Halloween, they're going to talk about it. But I agree with you at the same time, like when I heard it, but I'm just very thankful that my wishes so far, like no production has started at all. There's no pre-production. No one's been cast in anything. As far as I'm hearing or what anything, there's no script for anything. So give it time, give people a rest. I'll move on to my next kill.
Is this number 14?
No, this is my number 13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because Jamie Lloyd from Halloween 6 was 14. So number 13 is a character by the name of Gina. And she is beaten to death with a hammer off screen from Halloween 2018.
Oh, yeah. Off-screen death. Okay.
Yes. What I loved about this was it felt like a Halloween 2 moment.
Yes.
And the thing about when David Gordon Green approached Halloween 2018 was that he was like, yeah, we're going to erase everything except for the first movie, but we're going to put some shit in there to remind you of all the other movies.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
So this moment felt like a Halloween 2 moment to me where Michael just randomly, it's the one shot, man. He goes down to the garage, goes in, and hammers to death this old woman.
who I think is sort of a nod to Miss Elrod from Halloween 2.
From Halloween 2.
With the rollers in the hair.
What do you want? Mayonnaise or mustard? Like, and he's sitting there watching Night of the Living fucking Dead. Mr. Elrod? Mrs. Elrod?
Dude, when I went to H45 last year, I was trying to go to the Myers house, but we couldn't find parking. So I swing into this driveway to back out. Soon as I turn, I'm like, oh my God, this is the Halloween 2 alley. And in my mind, I knew that location was close by, but I just didn't think about it. So it was a total mindfuck moment to just be seeing the Halloween 2 alley out of nowhere.
Did you get pics and shit?
Yeah. Yeah, I got somewhere, but yeah,
we walked. You're lucky, dude, because when I was there, that slipped my fucking mind because I did everything else. And then after I left, I was like, oh my God, that's right down there.
Dude, that was cooler than seeing the actual Myers house for me.
Seeing the house was awesome. I think what was cool for me, I'll just tell this little story, is the ice cream place. I don't know if it's still there, but it's across the train tracks, like diagonal from the house. It was there when I was there. And we did all the locations, and I was like, all right, told my daughter, we'll get ice cream. There's an ice cream place here. And they sat inside, and I sat on the outside of the ice cream place, in which you could literally stare at the Myers house. You were like right next to it. I just sat out there eating an ice cream cone, watching the Myers house. Like, there it fucking is. Like,
yeah,
I saw it finally. Like, that's the actual fucking house. I will say, it makes no sense to me why they don't just paint it white. Like, just paint it white.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't get it.
I also had a similar moment. So we went to the Myers house. I had a coffee across the street. So to my right was the Myers house. And then there's a hardware store, of course.
The hardware store? Yeah.
Yes. I'm just sitting there having a total mindfuck moment, just thinking.
You did the thing I did, right? You twisted around, you looked around, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, I'm actually fucking here.
Yeah, I'm just picturing Donald Pleasant standing right there doing the whole thing. And I'm like, this is fucking crazy. So
I don't know if I'll ever get back to California again. I went the one time, but when I went the one time, I made sure that was one of the places I was going to go is there. And of course, the other locations in North Hollywood, like the Doyle House and all that. So
yeah, we did all those also, but yeah, good time. All right, Justin, my number 13. Don't try any of that Halloween shit with me. Talking about Bucky. Talking about Bucky, because I believe this is the first time somebody talked shit to Michael.
I'm pretty positive. Yeah, I think you're right, dude. I don't think anyone else ever, like, straight to his face, didn't give a fuck. Like, nope. Bucky's legendary, dude.
Yeah, it's just pure comedy. The kill itself it's fine. He gets thrown into the Transformer. But yeah, it's just classic. I love it.
Oh, I love it too. Now I feel terrible that I didn't have it on my list. Only because we all know now, like, Bucky's such an... Dude, people cosplay as Bucky.
As they should.
And we know through Kathleen Kinmont that, like, Bucky was the prop guy on the movie.
Right.
And he got into everything he could possibly get himself into, including some of the cast, which leads me to believe that Bucky was, like, just this force of fucking nature on Halloween 4. I feel like, much like Spuds McKenzie, which they keep posting, like, yeah, at the bar, the Spuds McKenzie. I have that same Spuds McKenzie right behind me. I have the legit one from the movie with the sunglasses on. I'm like, there's so much from Halloween 4.
Yeah.
That, because it's 88, like late 80s has a completely different vibe than like 81 or 78, Sure. But I love the Bucky character. Some people have talked about wanting to see him come back in a sequel. Like maybe he didn't totally die. Maybe he just got electrocuted and lived, and he's like horribly scarred, and he's still wearing the fucking construction hat with Bucky at the top. I don't know, man. I kind of love Bucky, so I love
Same
you for
here.
that pick. That's a fucking great pick. And George Wilbur has a lot of force in that kill. He fucking tosses him with those shoulder pads
Yeah.
right into that fucking thing, and yeah, it's pretty gruesome. Pretty gruesome shit.
Yeah. Solid kill. All right, Justin, what is your number 12?
Going to be considered sacrilegious
Uh-oh.
for the Halloween purists that it's this low. God, do I really need to mention this? But it is Annie, Nancy Loomis, in the car from John Carpenter's Halloween.
One of them was Annie.
And
Yeah.
this is, one of my first bands ever had the sample from her getting in the car and her being choked, and then the horn.
Oh, where she sounds like a Mars Attacks. So I do love this kill. I like the build up to it more than the actual kill. Sorry if I keep saying that, but yeah, I think it's her acting that I'm not the biggest fan of her as an actor in these movies.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, I will not. Her character.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, man. She I don't know, it's just the face as she falls onto the horn, and it's like
Well, okay. We all know. Come on. Give me a break here, Mr. Halloween fanatic. Jesus Christ, Bill. $325,000 budget. They probably took Carpenter probably did one fucking take. And he was like, that's good. That's fine. Good. And to be fair, I think, a bunch of kids making a movie, as John Carpenter himself said.
yeah.
I will agree that her expression as her face slowly goes down to the horn and she dies is a little bit pretty corny, but I love
Michael coming out of the back seat.
Classic.
Seat. Yeah.
It's another Hitchcock thing where, she's being dumb. I don't think the character is dumb. She's very intelligent. Obviously, we know she's book smart. She just wants to have a good time, right? This is just teenagers on Halloween night. They're not thinking anything of this. They're just out there doing their shit. Danger's out there and they're not aware of it, right? This is one of the first movies to present that. So when I look at it from the originality of it and how fresh it was at the time, I kind of let some of the cheesiness go. But I don't, and I've watched Giallos, right? I've watched every semi-slasher movie prior to Halloween. And none of those ever had a kill like this, the way that it was shot and the build up to it and the imagery of his mask. He reaches forward and then you can see him from behind. And the way he just brutally murders her, he's playing with her. He doesn't even necessarily need to kill her.
Yeah.
But he does.
I guess I should clarify. I do like the kill.
Well, of course you do. Yeah. You're a Halloween fan.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a solid pick.
We do get an homage to this in one of your favorite Halloween movies, which I don't know if it's on your list or not.
In 2018?
No. In one of your favorite Halloween movies that you like to champion, a little van kill.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Barry.
Halloween 6, Barry Sims.
That's
almost made the list.
Yeah, that's an homage to that kill because if you think about it, there's no other kill that similar from part 1 to part 6.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Stabbed in the dick, I think.
But in a van and from behind.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, good point. Okay. Moving on to number 12. This is the only kill from this movie to make my list. I'm talking about H2O, Nurse Chambers.
What? The only kill from this movie making your list?
Yeah, I looking at my list now.
Uh,
Hey, you like H2O more than me. I do. Look, I love H2O. Very nostalgic. It was a formative movie for me. But we don't have to talk about the entire movie, but this kill
well, no,
specifically.
we already did. We already did. You came on and did a retrospective with us. Yeah.
Yeah,
Epic
we
Film
did
Guys.
a full
Yeah.
episode on it if you guys want to check it out.
It's one of our biggest episodes of last year. So
Oh,
go check
shit.
it out if you're interested.
But yeah, I love this death. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Nurse Chambers is the only character to be killed twice.
Oh, that's right. She gets like brutally slaughtered for no fucking reason because David Gordon Green couldn't learn what to do with legacy characters at that point. So he's like,
This is for Dr. Loomis.
let's just go stab him to fucking death a million fucking times. Yep. Let's have fucking Tommy Doyle in there. Yep.
Evil dies tonight!
I felt like this was more warranted and it made a lot more sense in the opening of a Halloween movie where you're leading with a character that fans know and it adds some build up like, oh, cool. Like, oh shit, dude, it's the smoking nurse and she's still smoking. And there's lines that are comedically connected to that. And she's funny. And you've got Joseph Gordon-Levitt there. And this may or may not be on my list higher up. I may just be saying that now, but
Okay.
no, I love this kill. Absolutely. And I love that they brought her back.
Krista Rand is wearing the H6 mask in this scene, and he actually looks evil for one of the only times in this movie. Because after this, it's Derp City.
Listen, I love the Stan Winston mask. You hush your mouth. But maybe come through there right now. And
Hey, the Stan Winston mask is a vast improvement over the marshmallow mask. And
you have a
CGI
handicap.
mask.
I know you box and stuff, but you had a broken hand, dude. So I
Bam.
might be able to take you right now.
I don't know. This is like a weapon.
They are pretty tough, actually.
Yeah,
if
this
you'll
is like-
break it again, then you'll be screwed.
Yeah,
But
don't
no,
want to do that.
I love this kill. Absolutely. It's a great pick. Love this scene. Love the build up to this. It is, I mean, I think for a lot of fans, you got to put yourself back to that date when it came out in 1998. And we've been waiting for this long, 20 years, or not necessarily 20 years, but, this long to see Jamie Lee Curtis return to the franchise, and we're getting a new Halloween movie with her in it, and it's the Scream era, so slashers are back in vogue again. So horror fans are out. New horror fans are emerging thanks to Scream, and Halloween is cool again. And I was there opening night.
Same.
I remember it, and it was super special. And I think the opening of the movie for me, still to this day, I agree with you. I think the new version of the Six Mask that Beekler's team did. It's not the exact Six Mask, as you know. They did
Right.
a different. They altered the sculpt. They altered the paint and stuff to make it less featureless, or more featureless rather. And
Yeah, it still looks mean though.
it looks awesome. It looks like
Yeah.
Michael fucking Myers, dude.
Yeah.
And especially with that lighting and stuff, it's perfect. I love this opening. It feels like pure Halloween. So my next pick, God
Number
damn it.
11.
Yeah, here we are. We're almost to the top 10. Holy shit. Oh my God. And I know for a fact that I will definitely receive some shit for this one because it is so low. It is Bob in the kitchen with the butcher knife from John Carpenter's Halloween. And we have the Shape looking at his prey after he completely terrorizes it like it's a butterfly collection, as John Carpenter and Nick Castle himself said. I've always loved this kill.
Yeah.
It is probably one of the most defining moments in the slasher genre, if not the horror genre in general. But there's so many good kills in this franchise. That's why it's as low as it is. But up until this point in the horror genre, we had not seen someone literally staked into a fucking kitchen cupboard, you know? and he's just trying to get a beer. I mean, he's
Yeah.
me, dude. He's literally me. He's like, I want a beer. Like, I just got laid. Gonna get myself a beer.
Go get me a beer.
Yeah.
The only thing, every time I see this kill, I notice that the
he doesn't
knife
stab him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course,
well,
of
the
course, of
knife
course.
the knife would have to be like 2 feet long to stake him to the wall, but it's okay.
Well, he is pure evil, so
That's
I'm
right.
led to believe, even though the knife is as short as it is, the brute strength of pure evil will just go through him. And of course, he dies like immediately. Like his toes curl and then he dies.
Does Bob do cons or anything?
He did. He has done a few. I think he did a handful of the. He didn't do H-45.
He may have.
Pretty
I don't
sure.
know.
I'm pretty sure he's done a few.
He might have. Yeah, that whole weekend was just
because
a whirlwind.
Because my co-host Jeremy, for your listeners, he's met him a few times, and he takes the glasses that he still has that he wore in the first movie. He takes them every time he does a convention, and he will let you put them on if you ask.
That's cool.
So John Michael Graham is the actor's name. I don't think he actually acted after Halloween much, if at all. But he still has the glasses, those big, huge, thick, fucking black 1970s glasses. And there is a picture of my co-host Jeremy wearing those glasses with him. I'm pretty positive he either did H40 or H45. So he does still do stuff. And I've talked to you about this. There is that Halloween, the Inside Story documentary that was done that not a lot of Halloween fans talk about. It's available on YouTube if you search for it. It was available on DVD, very rare, which I own. But he's on that. He actually, that's the only time he's ever come on a documentary to talk about him being in the movie and what it was like for him being in the movie. And he's wearing the fucking glasses in the interview.
Nice.
So yeah, check that shit out. I mean, Bob's a memorable character in the sense that that's what this movie is based on, just like teenagers just wanting to get laid. And he's just going downstairs to get a beer. So
Yeah.
there it is. That's my number 11.
Solid kill.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I think for most people, that was the first time we saw the head tilt. So it's so iconic for Michael Myers.
That's true. It is the first time. And they make sure to do it 5 times in every movie after that.
Yep. But nowhere near as good as Nick Castle. I would say a handful of the actors nailed it, but Nick Castle was the perfect one.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that. Okay, my number 11 pick is a non-Michael Myers kill.
Oh, God.
Talking about Halloween 3. Buddy.
Oh, okay, cool.
With the mask.
Cool. All right.
And he collapses on the floor into a puddle of roaches and snakes. It's gnarly as fuck. I love it. This movie has grown on me so much over the last 5 years. Yeah. Solid kill.
Fucking love this kill.
Yeah.
It's one of the most mean-spirited, crazy, outlandish kills of the entire franchise. As I said to you pre-show, I watch this movie every single year. I've screened it to big audiences. I love Halloween 3. And every single time this scene pops up Buddy's kind of an asshole, right? He flips his mom off as he's riding his bike away from her. Like, he doesn't even have any respect for his parents. He begs for a fucking Halloween mask from Connell Cochran. He doesn't give a shit about anybody else. He's like, I just want a mask. I just want to ride my bike around. Typical entitled piece of shit 80s kid. So he kind of gets what he deserves. But also, he has like rattlesnakes and shit coming out of his head after he dies, which is some really gruesome shit. It's very mean-spirited. It's very fantastical. I love everything about it, man. And in retrospect, yes, a large portion of our generation when we were growing up were like, oh man, Halloween 3, Michael Myers isn't in that. But I came to it earlier than most. I was like, man, there's something about this movie. And I think it was when I first watched Night of the Creeps. And I was like, oh shit, it's the same dude. Holy shit, Tom Atkins. And that's what made me fall in love with it. And then, of course, throughout the years, I've seen it on 35 millimeter. I've got to meet Tom Atkins, Stacey Nelkin, and it's honestly one of my favorite Halloween-related movies of all time. Though I will say I typically remove it from the franchise only because, I mean, it's a Halloween movie in name only. It's not really a Halloween movie. So I like to differentiate and remove it just for the sake of letting it get all the praise that it can, because it's very special.
Just feel like it's the right thing to do to throw just one up there.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did.
All right, Justin.
Oh,
we are cracking the top 10.
Here we are. So this is a movie I've only seen twice ever, but I kind of had to put this in here just because of the title, Halloween Kills. And also for the simple fact that the character of Cameron is such a piece of shit in 2018 that I couldn't wait to see him get killed.
Hey man, Kills. He kind of redeems himself. He
doesn't really. He tries. He doesn't get there for me. Even though Allison is sitting there screaming, she tries to prevent his death. When he dies, I felt satisfaction, which to me was like, yes, you can come in last minute, dude. Like, yeah, I care about you. But yo, you were making out with that chick with the fucking tiger costume. What, like how many hours before that? Nah, bro. No, bro. Seriously.
Great death scene, though. This is
amazing death scene, dude.
Cold-blooded.
Weapon of choice. Michael Myers' hands, a knife, and a fucking banister.
Twist his head off. Or not off. I thought when I saw it for the first time, he was going to rip it off.
His head fell off.
Twist it off. Yeah.
Which I thought would have been badass, but, you know.
No, I still love it because up until that point, I mean, we have Allison fighting with Michael Myers. She stabs him after the shape stabs Cameron himself. And then, dude, he just takes him. And this is, once again, like, I base a lot of these kills on my list off of Michael Myers being pure to the character. He's being playful. He's like, look what I'm doing. You're down there. Yeah. Look what I'm doing to him. See this? Bang. Every single hit lands, and he's looking down there as she's watching, and she's like, come fucking fight me. She's like yelling at him. I can't believe I remember this scene because I only saw the fucking movie twice. But
hey man, Halloween Kills has good moments.
Yeah, absolutely good moments. Yeah, for sure.
And everything with Michael, the look, James Hugh Courtney.
Dude, James is
10 out of 10.
My boy, man. I love James. You already know I've said this on your show every time. We were the first podcast to interview him before the movie came out. The first Halloween movie came out that he was in. He's an amazing dude, a great guy. He's one of my favorite versions of the Shape / Michael Myers out there ever. Yeah. He did an amazing job throughout the David Gordon Green trilogy. I would even say if they did any more of these, like, bring him fucking back. Seriously, he's such a fucking great guy. And he portrayed my vision of what I would like to see out of a new version of the Shape. But this kill, I had to throw it in there just because, and our listeners, if they're listening, are going to be like, sacrilegious, oh my God, he's going against his rule. No Halloween Kills. But like I said to you, Phil, earlier on, I'm going to probably revisit Halloween Kills this season. But what I think is so funny about this kill is that Cameron thinks a gun's going to stop the Shape, and he's like whimpering as he's like walking through the house, and he gets a shot off to the ceiling and whatever. And I just love it. I couldn't wait to see him get killed. I'm like, dude, you don't cheat on your chick in front of her to fucking dance, dude. You're a piece of shit. You deserve to die. So that's my number 10, Cameron from Halloween Kills. Man, you don't fuck around. Not in front of her. You know she's there. You serious? No, there's no redemption, dude. It's like the same fucking night. Am I right?
Yeah, you're correct.
So, nope. Even though Kills opens and he's like climbing over the fence, like,
Yeah, helping out Sheriff Brackett.
nope, not happening. But what about you, my friend, for your number 10?
Number 10.
10.
I am going to go. Well, we already talked about this, but I put Jamie Lloyd thrown on the corn thresher.
Okay.
So,
that's your number 10.
yeah, we already talked about it. Great scene. It's evil. It's cold-blooded. It's shot well. Love it.
All
So
right.
that's it.
So, okay.
Number 9, Justin.
Moving on to number 9. Sarah from Halloween H2O. Weapon of choice is a butcher knife. Stabbed in the back 4 times, but not before her leg is absolutely fucking mangled and crushed in the dumbwaiter.
Good pick.
Dude, those that know me know my admiration of H2O. And I feel like this kill is probably the strongest. Maybe one of the strongest by the shape at that
I
point.
wish they showed the kill. I mean, you see Michael doing the stabs.
Dude, that's why I love it so much, actually. Because we see brutality prior to that.
Sure.
We see a very massive buildup. Like, dude, she sees her boyfriend who's now murdered in a dumbwaiter. There's like absolute terror built into this person when she thinks they're just going to eat a lot of food, possibly have some premarital sex,
Listen to Creed.
and listen to Creed. And that's
Yeah.
it, dude. That's it. That's what her night is.
That's literally all I want in life.
And then, of course, no, Charlie's gone. And then she goes in the dumbwaiter and she has to sit there with her boyfriend. I think that's a terrifying thing, seriously. Way more than people give it credit for. And then, of course, the leg. The leg is brutal.
Yeah.
So, to your point, I don't think we need to see her getting brutalized and stabbed. I would like it, but the impact of just seeing Chris Duran going from above, it follows within the John Carpenter Halloween rules in a way. Even though the leg is like, oh, God. Every single time that dumbwaiter hits, man, it's like you just cringe a little bit.
Yeah.
No sex games till I've eaten. I mean, God damn.
I'm
Seriously.
still a little confused. Like when she's hung up by the light, there's like a light through her body. I'm like, what am I looking at?
I would have to say that he fucking gutted her, my friend.
And stuck a light through her? Or
it would have taken a lot of time, but I'm pretty positive that he probably slit her open through the belly.
okay.
And like, I mean, it looked like an art piece. We're down to your number 9.
Oh. Okay. Halloween 2, Nurse Jill, stabbed in the back with a scalpel, lifts her up, clogs hit the floor. It's just
Amazing kill. Amazing.
It's actually the first kill that I ever remember from the franchise. Because Halloween 2, I saw it when I was very young, like 4 or 5. And for whatever reason, that moment, those little clogs hitting the floor stuck with me.
Was that not the costumer's idea? I'm pretty sure it was. It was somebody else's idea, right?
Yeah, it was improv on the spot. I don't know who thought to add that. Yeah.
It's brilliant, though. It's genius. Every single time I watch it, I'm like, that's one moment that always makes me chuckle a little bit when I watch Halloween 2, which I already watched this season because I always watch it very early. For some reason, I usually watch that one like late August, early September. I don't know why. But I love that moment. It's fantastic. It's a great fucking kill, dude.
But yeah, Nurse Jill, I debated between that and the hot tub kill. Going with the clogs.
The hot tub kill is way better than that kill. So you'll be hearing me talk about. Maybe you'll be hearing me talk about it. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see how I'm feeling. We'll see how I'm feeling.
Okay, well maybe it's number 8. Let's find out, Justin.
Oscar, weapon of choice, a butcher knife and a wrought iron fence.
Hey.
Yes, sir. From David Gordon Green's Halloween from 2018. Y'all didn't think I was going to pull that out of my ass, did you? You didn't think I was going to throw that much love to David Gordon Green when I was talking all that shit. Well, you were wrong, and I guess I was wrong too. This was one of those moments in the theater opening weekend that brought laughs from the audience. Dude, Oscar's like fucking wasted. He just struck out with Allison. Let's just, he has nothing that he can do. There's a let's just effort right there. He's like not going to do anything with her. He's trying so hard at this point, and then he drunkenly encounters the shape. I liken it to me, actually.
I mean, it is pretty funny when he asks Mr. Elrod, or that's who he thinks it is. He
thinks it is, yeah.
Have you ever wanted a girl, but you just couldn't have her? And then it just shows Michael.
Have you ever really liked a girl and you just couldn't have her?
It's funny. Yeah,
it's also what you were talking about earlier. An homage to Halloween 2, with including Mr. Elrod.
I love the use of the light sensor.
Is the devil costume a nod to Sam from Halloween 5?
Good question.
And Michael just stares at him, slashes, then stalks, and then, of course, fucking impales him on that gorgeous Gothic fence, giving him one of the most memorable visuals in the film.
It's immediately followed by perhaps the greatest piece of original music since
the
Halloween
shape
theme.
hunts Allison.
And this is where we should have had our holy shit classic Halloween chase moment. Andy Matichak's running through the neighborhood, and I'm like, oh, here it is. Nope. You don't see Michael after that. I'm like, what are you doing? Make that a chase scene.
Yeah, dude, I feel like
it just stops.
This is blue balls for me, talking with you about this scene and mentioning these kills, because there are so many moments in David Gordon Green's 2018 Halloween movie that I love and I adore.
Yeah.
But there are those that end equally as frustrating, where you're like, dude, did you not just know what you built up to and you just like let that go? Like, you're totally correct. And that's one of the biggest problems I have with this trilogy is the Allison character in general. Amy Matichak is fucking brilliant in these movies. I love her so much. And when I saw her in the 2018 movie, I was like, I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this character. She's going to be our new age Laurie Strode. And unfortunately, they dropped the ball in a big way in Kills. And then they tried to pick up the pieces in Ends. And I felt that it failed.
Dude, I went on like a little deep dive the other day. She hasn't done shit in like the last 3 years.
That's a shame.
No social media, nothing. Wasn't at age 45, even though Rohan Campbell was.
She decided to go do was it Spooky Empire or something? She did something in Florida instead. And I heard through the grapevine, I won't say the names, that she was offered age 45 and she turned it down. And she decided to do some con in Florida instead.
What?
And yeah. So that was why she was doing a con in Florida during the time of age 45. She was down in Florida doing some, I don't know if it was Spooky Empire or whatever the Orlando show is or whatever. She did one show. And it's unfortunate because, dude, like, let's be very clear here. Regardless of how we feel about the trilogy, if you will, I think she's brilliant. I'd love to meet her. Like, I feel like she was underutilized, and she was exactly what I was hoping for like a new age Laurie Strode. Like, dude, she's so fucking good in Halloween 2018. And this scene just is a perfect example of that. And I feel like they squandered it. Now, again, there's so much to tackle in doing like hey, we're doing a direct sequel to one of the best, if not the top 5 best horror movies ever fucking made here, you know? So David had his hands full, and I still believe to this day he did a great job with his follow-up, like the 2018 film.
Sure.
But you should have had a lot more written in for Allison and 2 and 3 and prepped for that, you know?
Yeah, it's just kind of obvious that they had enough ideas for one good movie, and then they were like, I don't know.
That's what we always say.
I guess we'll throw some shit together.
They
Evil Dies
claim they
Tonight,
had a
sure.
three picture idea, but I don't.
Bullshit.
You know, and I'm not trying to spend this whole time shitting on those movies. Believe me, I want to put that out there right now. But in discussing them with you, it is hard to not like bring it up because you sit there and you think about it and going, man, they had so much potential there.
Yeah, it's just mostly frustration. Like, oh,
Absolutely.
damn it. Okay, I guess continuing on with the 2018 talk. This is turning into a 2018 episode, but say what you want about the movie. It has some great kills. I loved the bathroom kill with the two podcasters. I mean, dude.
Yeah.
The just the build up to that, dropping the teeth over the stall. I love that. Yeah, it's just brutal. I felt horrible for both of these characters.
I didn't. I felt they were very exploitative, and they went somewhere they probably shouldn't have. They knew what they were doing, my friend.
Well,
True crime podcasters.
That's true. You never use the bathroom out back at the gas station. That's always going to be bad.
We've already learned that from H2O. You don't use the gas station bathroom or any bathroom anywhere, or Halloween 4 rather, whatever. You don't go to any gas station. No, go far, far away from that. And also, true crime podcasters are assholes, and they'll exploit you. They just want to make money off you.
I don't know anything about that world. I don't really listen to any, but I'll take your word for it.
That's what they do.
Well, all that aside.
And also, how dare he? How dare he? Michael, your mask. Your mask. It's almost like he's like, do you like it?
Something.
Do you like it? Do you like it? Like holding a bone in front of a dog. You want the fucking bone? You want the bone? Or a guy that's been in prison for like fucking 20 years and bringing like a stripper and a fucking thong and high heels. Like, you want this, dude? You want that? Yeah, you do. You can't have it.
Valid points, but they could have been written better, but I do like these two actors.
Oh no, they're very good. I mean,
and I even thought that Aaron, so yeah, he gets the shit beat out of him, gets his head bashed against the wall, but I was like, maybe he's still alive and he's gonna come back and kills and kind of be like your Loomis type character.
No,
I mean, I'll take that over Evil Dies Tonight.
Maybe I was hopeful at that point in time that our new Loomis character would be Laurie Strode, and that didn't happen because in Kills, the majority of the movie, she's just in a hospital bed and she's wasted.
Yeah,
so she made a cool, however many million she made off that one. Like, yeah, I'll shoot for like 2 weeks.
Hey, much like the original Halloween 2. Hey, Laurie, come do this movie. We'll slap a wig on you.
No, dude. She did way more in Halloween 2 than she did in Kills.
I love Halloween 2, but she is wasted in that movie. Literally.
She is wasted, but she does more. But she does more physically and on screen. She's way more on screen than she is in Halloween Kills, for sure.
Yeah, I just think they made a mistake by writing her character like, oh, Dr. Mixter drugged her, so she's just sort of comatose for the whole movie. It's like, you got JLC. Let her do her thing. Let her act. You got her in a fucking hospital gown crawling around on the floor.
Yeah, with that wig.
Yeah.
Both movies, dude, a wig. Both fucking movies. Halloween Kills, Halloween 2, a wig. So you got to love the wigs.
Okay. I didn't know that about H Kills. All right, Justin. Let's move it along to number 7.
Yeah, number 7 for me. This one's just for you. Deborah Strode.
Oh.
Played by Kim Darby. Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, weapon of choice, and axe.
I love this kill.
I knew you would. A simple yet effective portrayal of a classic stalk and slash. Deborah clearly realizes Michael is in the house shortly after Loomis visits to warn her. She runs outside to try to escape, and we get not only a throwback to the original film with the sheets,
Yeah,
the
sure.
sheets
Sure.
in the back of Laurie Strode's yard, but an amazing visual that helps build suspense until she meets her fate by an axe.
Dude, that shot looking up at George Wilbur holding the axe.
And the swing,
Come
fucking
on.
swing.
He put some fucking stank on that swing. He's like, "Gagoosh."
Dude, he
Fucking
swings
love
that
it.
axe with might, and we might just get the most red of the red blood splattered across the white sheet out of any of the Halloween movies leading up to that point. It's mean spirited as they come, and at that point, when I watched it the first time I saw it, I was like, "Holy shit!" I fell in love with it. And I remember saying this out loud to a friend in a band of mine at the time. We were called Overture to Death. I said, I want a fucking shirt with him holding the axe like that. And I had to wait 25 years for it to happen. But now there's
I
a
got
shirt.
one. Yeah.
Now there's
I
a
have it
shirt
too. Yep.
that he's holding the axe like that. And it's like, how amazing is that as a horror fan? So yes, I included this one just for you.
Thank you, buddy.
Even though there is an earlier one from Halloween 6, in the latter lineup, but this one's still to this day. So I have to tell you the story. We're carving like fake pumpkins for our yard haunt this year. And I decided, like, man, I've carved the Halloween 2 pumpkin. I've carved the original Halloween 78 pumpkin. I've even done like the Halloween 2018 pumpkin with the hearts for the eyes and all that. I'm like, I'm going to do the Halloween 6 pumpkin for our yard. And I told my wife, I said, you've never seen Halloween 6. I've always watched it while you were falling asleep. So I'll put it on. And when this kill happened, she turns to me and she's like, why didn't you put on one of the good ones?
What?
Yeah.
Divorce her.
And I was like, oh. The only thing that she said in the opening is she's like, at least it isn't that bitch Danielle Harris because I can't stand her. So
Hey.
those were her words. She doesn't like Danielle Harris. She doesn't like Jamie. So there was some positives to be said about Halloween 6, but
Okay.
there it is. So that is my number 7. How about you, my friend? You're number 7.
Oh, we're not done yet. Bonus points because that kill is a daytime kill, which you don't get often.
Absolutely. It is very gloomy. We know they shot these
during the actual Halloween season.
Yeah.
And
in cold conditions, very cold conditions. Like they talked about during production, on a couple of days they woke up and there was like actual like a foot of snow and they had to like brush the snow off but I think when you're talking about 6, the one thing I'll say about this is it gets kind of shit on, but it nails the Halloween season and the fall season perfectly. Not as good as part 4, but it's for a 90s sensibility. Absolutely. It feels like fall in the Halloween season for sure.
And I feel like people are sort of coming around to it. I mean, I'm sure back in the 90s, the 2000s, man, it was... I was pretty lonely defending Halloween 6.
Well, it bombed, dude. It bombed. It died a horrible death. And it's unfortunate.
I just mean up until maybe 6-7 years ago, I'm seeing more people give it credit, which before that, it was just comments like, oh, the one with the stupid cult, stupid bullshit movie. It's like, dude, I'm not saying the cult stuff is amazing, but you have to give credit to what the movie gets right. The atmosphere, Michael himself.
You got to think about what, Daniel Farron's attempted to tackle when he was a fan of the entire franchise, and he came to them like, I think I have a way to fix all these problems. And they weren't problems that he set up. Like he's like, I have an idea. And this was his idea, and I think it's a very valiant effort. Absolutely. As a new time writer, basically fan fiction is what it was, and they made a movie out of it. So just goes to show, I mean, the movie came out and it didn't do well at the box office, but let's face it, Jason didn't do well at the box office during that period. Freddy didn't do well at the box office at that period. It wasn't until Ghostface, you know, came up from the ashes of the slasher world and reinvigorated it, where people were interested in all these characters again. And that's just the way that it was. But there's some very interesting ideas in Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. And I think both Joe Chappelle and Daniel Farrens and everyone involved, there was a lot of cooks in the kitchen. It wasn't a matter of like one particular vision, but there's so much to like there, I think, at least.
Yeah, the production was a mess, and also the Weinsteins were breathing down Joe Chappelle's neck, fresh director. So, of course, he's going to be like, okay, I guess I'll change the script and do this instead. But it's kind of a mess at times, but still a lot of things that I love about it. So,
Barry, you know, got some Barry shit. Cool.
All right. Number 7, taking it back to Halloween 4, Kelly Meeker.
Oh, yeah.
Impaled with the shotgun.
This is a bloodless kill, but a great one.
Nod to the original.
Kill. Absolutely. And I'm pretty positive she's not wearing any panties during her kill, too.
You might be right. Maybe that's why Michael impaled her so highly. I don't know. But it's a great kill. It's I like the fake out moment where she's approaching Deputy Logan. She's like, "Oh, wish we had some MTV," or whatever.
I know, right?
And then Michael gets up. Wait a second. It's Michael Myers. And you think for a second he's about to shoot her, but nay. Stabs her with a shotgun. I love it.
That's a great kill, dude. I love that kill. Yeah.
Love it.
It's probably one of the most exciting kills of that movie because you could tell from the production and the way that it's set up that it was definitely planned as one of the better ones of the movie, for sure.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's bloodless. It's just impact. Like even Kathleen Kinmont said herself, there was never any blood. It was just this harness that they set her on, and she was on like a bike seat with a harness. The old way they used to do kills in horror movies. And I feel slightly bad about her kill because even though she's portrayed as like an unlikable character throughout the movie, she does tell Wade to fuck off. And that's kind of a redeeming quality because Wade's an asshole.
Fuck off, Wade.
The thing that I love about H4, even characters like Kelly or Brady, they're not bad people. They're kids. And they're
Absolutely.
Just making bad decisions.
Much like a little movie we all know called Halloween from 1978 that came out 10 years before it. So I think, Dwight Little had a great perspective on what should be done and what shouldn't be done in a Halloween movie. That's why when I look back at part 4, and I will have this debate quite often on social media where people are like, oh, 4 kind of sucks. And I'm like, go back in time.
Who says that?
Well, there's a lot of people that say that.
They're fucking wrong.
The mask sucks. I'm like, dude, it's a fucking mask. And Ken Horn did the best he could with what Don Post sent him. He didn't make the mask.
Not saying it's an amazing mask. It's sort of grown on me over the years.
It has me too, man. I mean, in certain shots with the right lighting and darkness over it looks okay. It looks all right.
The problem with that mask, though, much like we were talking about with the H6 mask, you got to have texture. So the light has something to beam off of or catch a shadow.
Yeah.
With the H4 mask, it's kind of flat, a little washed out. But even then, there are
the hair is slicked back. It shouldn't be slicked back. It's always supposed to be manic,
That's true. Yeah, he's got that kind of Goodfellas look going on.
Hey, what's going on? Am I a fucking clown here? Am I a fucking slasher killer? What's going on here, huh? You calling me a fucking slasher? sitting at the table there, at the bar with Spuds and McKenzie. But no, for real, great fucking kill, dude. Absolutely a great kill. And so my
Number 7.
is that's my number 6, actually.
Oh shit, my bad. Yeah, number 6.
My number 6 is Marge Gutman, which is at the time Tom Atkins' real wife. From
Seriously?
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Weapon of choice is a silver shamrock medallion chip that is some kind of malfunctioning laser. But yes, Marge was portrayed by Tom Atkins' real wife at the time. And my favorite part of this kill is the fact that Marge is just purely an innocent bystander, just chilling, reading a book, listening to some bullshit-ass classical music. I do like classic music, but what she's listening to sucks, and she's about to turn it off. What could go wrong, right? I mean, this is just...
I mean, it does come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like that laser just...
Now, listen. Kills in this movie do not discriminate at all. But this
Touché.
laser fries her face into this terrifying image, which looks like this almost like creature.
Yeah.
And of course, we see like a spider and a couple other insects come out of her mouth.
Yeah, it's a gnarly makeup application. Like her mouth is just exploded.
And the best part about this, Phil, is that when this happens, Dr. Chalice and Ellie are fucking. And Ellie's like, "What was that?" And Dr. Chalice is like, "Who cares?" And he keeps fucking her. She's like fried dead in the next room.
Yeah, good kill. Can't hate on it.
Great kill. Again, the uniqueness of that kill in terms of the entire franchise, and I love Halloween 3, and like I said earlier on to you, I usually divorce it from the series, but if I'm going to do like a countdown like this, I got to show it some love. And this kill is like, I think it's Tommy Lee Wallace is a great director. It's a shame that he didn't get his chance to direct more horror movies, but the build up to this and the lead up and the timing is just perfection. So there it is. That's my number 6.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I think Tommy Lee Wallace underrated as a director. Halloween 3, the It series, Fright Night 2.
Absolutely.
All fucking solid.
Absolutely, dude.
I wish he did more stuff, but yeah, good kill. My number 6, we already talked about it. Oscar, the light sensor.
Oh shit, dude.
Death. Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
I rewatched 2018 like 2 days ago. And yeah, that scene is just badass. I like the use of the light sensor. It's unique. It's actually a good jump scare when the light comes back on and Michael slices the dude.
I love it. And also having it being a character that, again, he's in the devil costume, he strikes out. He shouldn't be trying to get with his best friend's girlfriend anyways, but he does.
Well, again, dumb kids.
Dumb kids.
Dumb
And
drunk
it feels
kids.
real. It feels real. And it actually feels like, I'll say this much. No one in the original Halloween ever seems actually drunk to me, which leads me to my number 5, which is Linda, played by PJ Souls.
All right.
Weapon of choice, a telephone cord. Yeah, back when those still fucking existed and telephones had cords on them. In a strangulation.
I remember those. But yes, great kill. Fucking iconic. I think this is one of the first times we see that Michael is a bit of a rascal. A bit of a...
Yes.
A bit of a rapscallion.
This is like, after he kills Bob in the kitchen, and you know, he comes upstairs and Linda's like, "Where's my beer?" In a modern movie, she'd be sitting there scrolling through her phone.
That's true.
But here, she's not. But she's playing a character that would absolutely do that, which is funny when you think about it in retrospect. But this is such a defining moment for The Shape, like you said. It's an aspect of the character that gets lost so much throughout the series and other movies, his playful side. Linda wants to get the party started, and Michael's got Bob's glasses on. He puts a sheet on.
Cute, Bob. Real cute.
And this is what sets Michael. No, it's okay. This is what sets Michael apart from his horror brethren at the time. Like, we didn't have horror icons before this movie that had a playful side in this way.
Yeah.
And she's like, "This is going nowhere." And then, of course,
nowhere.
He it's so funny the way he waddles behind her. One, two.
Yeah, he is kind of doing a little penguin walk, huh?
And then he strangles her with the phone cord, and nothing destroys that image, Phil, of after he does that. And of course, Laurie's listening on the other end, thinking that she's just fucking somebody and pranking her. Bob, no less.
Yeah, is that
Who's already
something people do? They're like, hey, let's call my friend while we're fucking.
I mean, probably. Probably. I mean, now people don't even have to call each other. They can just look at each other's TikToks or Instagrams, right? But that image when Linda pulls the sheet over his head and he's listening on the other end and breathing into the phone.
Hello?
It's absolutely iconic. So this whole scene in general is one of the best, not only in the Halloween franchise, but one of the best in horror history. So this kill had to be on my list of my top 5. So that is Linda.
Good
in
pick.
The bedroom.
And when I met Nick Castle last year, I picked an 8x10 that had an image from that scene because it's just that iconic. I love it. So, yeah, good pick, man.
Thanks, man. Perfect option to get a image signed by Nick Castle. He's the sweetest dude. So,
yeah, very nice guy. Should have brought my Dennis the Menace VHS though.
Yeah, he likes when you bring shit that he directed. He's like,
Sure.
He gets super excited about that.
Major Pain,
of course. The Last Starfighter.
All right, my number 5. Going back to 2018, the house-to-house scene after he kills the lady with the hammer. I'm talking about when he stabs the lady through the neck, bangs her head off the wall or something, then stabs her in the neck.
Yeah.
I just fucking love it, dude. So when 2018 came out, I didn't watch any trailers for it. I was like, I'm hyped. I don't want to see anything. I'll be there. When I saw this sequence on the big screen for the first time, I was blown the fuck away.
It probably gave you a boner, maybe.
I cried and I had a boner. I was very confused. I was like, yes. Oh my God.
What am I supposed to feel here? It's exciting though. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but it's amazing.
Dude, and once again, there's the frustration with these movies. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, finally, somebody fucking gets it. The over-the-shoulder tracking shot, it's choreographed so well. The score, the atmosphere, the look of Michael, perfect. Like, this entire sequence is 10 out of 10.
Absolutely.
And it culminates with this kill at the end. So yeah, I just love everything about this scene.
Can't disagree with you. Can't disagree.
Which is why
at
it's
all.
so frustrating where it's like you have this in the first movie of the trilogy and it ends with what we got. It's like, how did we go so far? What the fuck happened? Because I can tell that you're passionate about these movies.
And and you've done your research as well. It's not like he stepped into this being a non-knower or, even though he's not an Adam Wingard or a Ty West or fill in the blank, Michael Dougherty or any of these other directors that have tackled other horror movies that are huge fans of the original Halloween that put their fucking name in the bucket, if you will, to be moved around and picked out to see if they were the right guy to tackle it, they decided to go with a comedy team, which is David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. But,
Yeah.
Us as horror fans, going back to 2018, I've talked about this on our show plenty of times, and you know this as my friend, but I saw David Gordon Green's Halloween a month before it came out. So I was invited to a trade screening of the movie. I saw it like 9 a.m. on like a fucking Tuesday or something.
Nice.
And it was the most excitement that I had felt as an adult, as a film lover, my entire life. Up until that point, like the return of one of my favorite characters. And I sat there and watched it with my boy Loisos, with a security guard and a Universal Pictures representative. And I walked out like, dude, I can't wait to tell people about this, but I can't. I'm not allowed to. I thought we were ready and prepared for a renaissance of Halloween movies because I felt like he nailed it.
Exactly.
Like he
not without faults, but overall,
not without faults. But yeah, I mean, there were things in the movie that didn't work for me, but at the same time,
humor.
Dude, there's again with any movie, like from a critical perspective, because I liken myself to, I'm a fair-minded film critic in my own sense, but when you're a fan of something too, like hardcore, it's hard to like divorce yourself, right? So I try to look at things that I love that much from two different perspectives. And that movie, I said, no, you know what? Like, I think this one nailed it in a pretty big way. It's going to be something special. And it broke records. The mass majority at that time when it came out were very positive on it. I think it really did capture at least the essence of the franchise as a whole that we know and love. And from there, we all had a certain, I feel like, expectation, and there was a responsibility from that to like build from that and continue on. Like John Carpenter's involved. I mean, Deborah Hill had already passed on, so she was nowhere to be spoken of, RIP. But the names involved were the names we would want to see at that point. And now when we look back at, 2024, we're like, oh man, what could have been? But that's not to say that all of it was wasted. Like I try to be positive about it, think that all of their intentions were the best, but also when you're in that position, I would never know what it would be like to be David Gordon Green and be like, yo, your Halloween movie just broke records. It's in the top 5 horror movie openings of all time. Like, yeah, make another one, dude. Like I'll never understand that pressure. So I try to give him some leeway on that.
Sure.
But also he did make The Exorcist Believer, so he can go fuck himself. I'll leave it there, my friend. I feel like in terms of doing like a retrospective on that trilogy, that's also its own like 3-hour fucking thing.
Oh,
because
sure.
There's so much to pull apart there and so many interesting things. And there's a lot to love. Believe me, like I don't walk out of that thing totally hating or being negative about every single moment, but you know how I feel about it. So
sure.
So my number 4, one of the best kills in the Halloween franchise, Earl Ford, played by Jane Ross from Halloween 4, weapon of choice, Michael Myers' bare motherfucking hands. He's the owner of the Oasis Bar. Earl is the one that created the fucking lynch mob to go out and try to hunt down Myers himself.
Yeah.
And as you can see, Phil, that doesn't get him that far at all.
Phone doesn't just ring at a police station. No way. No how.
As he just pounds a beer at his own bar.
Well, come on.
and that's when I went in there as a 3-year-old and stole that fucking Spuds McKenzie, and that's why it's sitting back there behind me.
Nice.
Yeah, curled up there. That doesn't get him far. This was always one of those holy shit moments for me as a kid. Rachel and Jamie's reactions are gold in this kill. That was actually added after the fact. This was one of the reshoots where Mustafa Akkad said, "More blood, more blood, more blood, more blood," and that was one of those moments where I'll miss John Carl Buechler because he was such a nice fucking guy. And I'm trying not to tear up about this because he literally was like the most down to earth fucking guy. And he did special effects for no money for so many movies and helped create rather like so many amazing 80s movies. And, he came in last minute on this movie. He was really close with Mustafa, and his memory of this, the whole, like you said, the more blood, was,
Yeah.
as a fan, just to hear him talk about that, and knowing that he's passed I found out on the show that Carl Buechler had cancer. We took all of our Patreon money for like a couple months and contributed that to his cancer fund. And then he eventually passed on. And luckily, Jeremy, our co-host, got to meet him and has a funny story about him. And apparently he was like one of the best guys in the world. But he did the effects for this movie, and he also directed one of my favorite Friday the 13th movies, The New Blood. And I actually have the fucking tattoo on my arm that says The New Blood. And but he was instrumental in the horror genre throughout the late 80s.
He did the effects on the entire Thorn trilogy, right?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he was on 5 and 6.
Yeah. So
fucking legend.
He did a lot of work on all of them. I mean, K&B did some stuff. Greg Nicotero did some stuff on 5. He was the main guy, but on 6, Buechler came back and was like the head of it. And also on H2O, like we said, he to Mustafa's request, he came back in. Mustafa did not like the mask that Steve Miner wanted, which was the Casper mask, and he did a new mold and a new version for the film. And so it's just hard for me to talk about him because you think back to the 80s, and we do have those young guys now that are like our age. I say your age rather, because you're way younger than me, that are up and coming and they're crushing it in the fucking horror world, and they're looking back on the decades before. But John Carl Buechler was like the guy, and he made this kill happen. And it's one of the best kills of the fucking movie, dude. I mean, they're just like riding in the truck, and Michael just reaches his hand in and rips his throat the fuck out, and blood gushes everywhere. And Jamie and Rachel are like, like, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite moments of the movie.
I can't believe it didn't make my list. I should have.
Listen,
yeah,
I'm probably about to disown you as my friend and as a Halloween fan. Like, how dare you not include this? And 15 fucking kills.
Well,
Did
hey,
you
man,
forget about it? Oh my god!
How dare you not include the thumb through the forehead in Halloween 4? I didn't.
Oh, the thumb is fine. The thumb. Buechler did the thumb. Buechler did the thumb, but dude, that's not like ripping a fucking throat out.
Yeah, I know, but
I will say this though, you are correct. The thumb in the forehead fixes some plot issues and some story issues. The throat being ripped out doesn't really fix anything. It just adds some gore and some intensity. But
yeah, it's fucking brutal.
But when you're watching in the theater, you've seen Halloween 4 in the theater, right?
I have not.
Dude,
I'm dying to.
So I have to. Okay. So.
And also Halloween 6. Somebody hook it up.
I'll do it.
Justin.
I'll do it. I'll do it next year. It is hard. I'll tell you this right now because my bosses will never listen. But getting those ones screened, I've tried so hard. 4, 2, 6, H2O, very difficult to get done.
And with all due respect to the original, I don't need to see it in theaters again. I think I've seen it 4 or 5 times now.
I've seen it like 15.
Yeah. Let's get some Halloween 4. Fuck, I'll take Halloween 5.
Well, hey, how about this? You can email my boss at work and say, I live close, and lie. In all reality, right now there are, ladies and gentlemen, theaters across the country. They are showing Halloween 1, Halloween 4, and Halloween 5 in select theaters. Not in my area, but they are doing repertory screenings in some areas of those 3.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. It's never in mine, but yes. So moving along.
Number 4 for me, keeping it in Halloween 4, Brady.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Brady, are you coming in or what?
I'll let you get back to Little Miss Hot Pants. But yeah, this kill, it's one of my favorites because it's the story, Brady's arc. I mean, he starts off, he treats Rachel like shit, but eventually by the end, he wins us over. He does the right thing. He tries to throw fisticuffs with Michael. Doesn't work. But yeah, I love this scene. It's simplistic. It's simply thumb in the jaw and some shadows and sound effects.
It's fantastic, and I think that it's a great build-up because there is a male figure in between Jamie and Rachel at this point. Like, we know everyone else is exhausted or gone or dead, and Brady steps it up, man. Like, he does the fisticuffs fight. He does like that old school Western, the left and the right, as we know. And like, I love Sasha and these sequences. I think he's fantastic. It's a shame that he didn't get more big roles to do. I think he's great in Halloween 4. I think he's fantastic. And this fight scene is actually very well lit with, you know, the windows behind him and they're on the staircase. It's very epic. It's got an epic quality to it. And, you know, Michael's like, nah, fuck that shotgun. I'm just going to bash you in the face with it. Then I'm just going to lift you up. And I love Sasha's story about like the blood capsule, obviously, where he spits it out because he thought that it was an off take or whatever, and they kept it in the movie. It's a great sequence. And I always felt bad for Brady, actually. Not my co-host Brady on the Epic Film Guys, who's the only real Brady I know in real life. But that's the only reason why I wanted to be friends with him, because I was like, dude, I love Halloween 4. And he was like, dude, Halloween 4 is my favorite Halloween movie. You go, but your name Brady. He's like, yeah. I was like, holy shit. Your name's really Brady? He's like, yeah. So that's why he's on the show, because he's named Brady and he loves Halloween 4.
Sasha Jensen's dad, he was a stunt guy. So Sasha knew George Wilbur from a very young age. So George was sort of like, once he was on set, he was like, all right, you got to make your dad proud. Like, let's fucking crush this. So when he gets thrown
and then he crushes his fucking nose in his face.
Yeah. And Brady gets tossed into the wall. If you watch that, Sasha Jensen, he like fucking slams into
dude, he
wall.
takes the hit for sure.
Yeah.
He takes the hit for real. Yeah. There's no stuntman doing that. When you watch especially in 4K, when you watch the 4K disc, you can see that Sasha is doing all of that. That's what I love about watching 4K versions of these older movies, especially when you're like, people are like, oh man, everything's CG now. And I'll be like, watch this shit. That dude that was paid like $10 to be in the fucking movie just took a massive hit against the wall, hit his head. And that's Sasha, man, as Brady.
Yeah. And I was fortunate enough to meet him last year.
Oh, you did?
Dude,
How was he?
Seriously, the nicest person I met that weekend. Like,
I've heard he was great. I've heard he was
so down
great.
to earth and chill.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I wish he would do stuff closer to the East Coast, but he's amazing. I will say this much though, as we're talking about it, because I don't think, I'm looking at my list and I'm just trying to be safe here. I don't know if this movie's going to come up again, but I have to bring up the fact that Ellie Cornell's performance as Rachel Carruthers is absolutely right up there with Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode for me. And that's why I love Halloween 4 so much. You got a great cast, you know, and I'd love to meet Ellie, and apparently she doesn't do conventions anymore. So, bummer for us, but good for her, I guess. She's just kind of done with it. But I think she's one of the best final girls in the history of slasher films, not just the Halloween series. So a lot of times when I do like Final Girl countdowns, I mention her and people are like, Rachel Carruthers, who the fuck is that? I'm like, Halloween 4, motherfucker. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah. Shame what they did to her in H5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. Well,
Hey, no H5 kills on either of our list.
and I'll be straight up with you, my friend. You're not going to see one in my top 3. So
You know what? I do have an honorable mention of Rachel's death, not the context of what they did to her character, but as a kid, this is the first time you ever see Michael Myers kill somebody in broad daylight. And I was like, I got to worry about this guy during the day now, too? What the
How
fuck
dare
is
you?
this?
How dare you?
He could be in my closet during the day? That's against the rules.
ladies and gentlemen, I just sent an email to the Spook House podcast. Like, we'll no longer do guest spots.
I said it was an honorable mention.
Oh God, we're down to like what top? Well, you're number 4, right? You just did number
Top
4, right?
3.
All right, here we go.
All right. Number 3, Justin, what do you got?
Well, you already mentioned it.
Rachel?
Weapon of choice, a butcher knife. Andrea Wagner. She's only handing out candy to poor trick-or-treaters. And of
Oh,
course,
shit.
The
Okay.
shape comes up. She's on a phone call.
Yeah, the
Talking
house
about
house
the
scene.
murders. And James Jude Courtney's The Shape slowly stalks her through the window. This is the definition of pure evil and Michael Myers, the way that we love him. And he's playing this as in the version that we know him from the original film, where he's playing with his prey. Michael moves into the house, comes up behind her, grabs her by the hair, bangs her fucking head off the couch before stabbing her through the throat from behind in probably one of the most effective kills of the entire movie.
And then just tosses her down.
Tosses her down
That's it. You're
like
done.
she's nothing, like she's no one, not a human, not a living thing. It is the epitome of pure evil incarnate, and that's why I love this kill.
Yeah. Solid kill, solid sequence. Love it.
It's fantastic. So what about you for your number 3?
Well, we have also already talked about this one.
Jesus.
But I went with Linda from the original Halloween. PJ
You didn't act so
Souls-
excited about it when I brought it up, but now you're excited, huh?
Hey, I had to keep you in suspense. I was like, I don't care about
I'm in
that kill.
absolute suspense.
Psych. It's number 3, Linda. I mean, we already talked about it. It's iconic. It's great.
See anything you like?
PJ Souls is... oh, my God. Justin is flashing his tits. For the audio-only listeners, just another reason to watch the show on YouTube. That's where all the action is. Well, yeah, number 3. That's
My
it.
number 2. Oh my God.
What is your number 2? We're getting down to the big dogs.
Well, I'm pretty positive, my friend, that you put this thing tragically low, unless I'm just tired or I'm in Halloween mode so far that I'm just eating so many Snickers and Reese's peanut butter cups and Butterfingers that my sugar high left an hour ago.
Yeah, it's late. I have
But
45 minutes till my birthday, but keep going.
Nurse Karen Bailey, Halloween 2, weapon of choice, a hot tub.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Number 2.
Yeah, because Dick Warlock is amazing. This kill is fucking mean and brutal as fuck, dude. Especially when you follow this kill up with anything that was in the original Halloween. It's some serious shit.
Sure.
Obviously, the time between 1978 to 81 is quite drastic in terms of making a movie happen, but you've had so many other slashers hit, and John Carpenter felt pressured And as he's always talked about, he had like, he says a 6-pack of Budweiser. I feel like, Phil, he probably had like more like 3 or 4 6-packs of Budweiser
Probably.
when he was writing Halloween 2. But this kill is so brutal. Michael violently plunges her head into 200-degree temperature water. This, of course, follows Bud's. Who doesn't like Bud? Amazing Grace.
Sit
on my face. Don't make me cry. I want your.
Yeah, I want you. I need your pie.
I need your pie. Yeah. And poor Bud, poor old Bud, as he says himself, he calls himself poor old Bud, is strangled. He's just trying to get laid, but
Yeah, I feel bad for her because she sucks on Michael's dirty ass fingers. He's been
they're so dirty, dude.
Strangling
They're
dogs.
disgusting, dude. Like,
Ugh.
every single time we watch this, my wife's like, wouldn't she know how disgusting those taste? Like,
Yeah,
gross.
man. But yeah, I can't argue with that. Great
I mean,
kill.
Bud
memorable.
literally begged Karen the entire night, dude. He's a horn dog. He's also not that nice at all to anybody else, but I still love Bud.
Yeah.
And when I met him, you know, and he said the whole thing, Amazing Grace, I was like, that's all I need to hear you say.
Nice.
But it's one of the most gruesome displays of violence in the entire franchise up until that point, and I think there's a lot of credit that has to go to Dick Warlock for effortlessly portraying pure evil in a scene that I would consider one of the most impressive is The Shape. Dunking the head in the water, pulling it out, dunking the head in the water, pulling it out. It's amazing. And there's so much great atmosphere and Dean Cundy's cinematography in the scene. Of course, Alan Howarth and John Carpenter's score. Pure, unadulterated brutality. This gives me the goosebumps.
Nice. All right. Very, very solid pick. My number 2.
Number 2.
We already talked about it, but the axe
Jesus.
kill, I know. I tell you, man, we think alike a little too much.
I guess so.
The axe kill, Halloween 6.
This is your number 2. So, okay. So I'm so thankful, Phil, that I put it on my list because I feel like otherwise you would never talk to me again.
Hey, man, you know how I roll. I'm a fan of the Halloween 6. I had to put it up here. Number 2. Love it.
Why though? Like, is it really that special to you? Is it that brutal? Is the lead up, the suspense, the sheets? What is it?
All of that. I mean, just that shot of Michael. Upward angle shot. George Wilbur, bulky
The swing?
as fuck. Just standing there like, oh, you're fucked. The swing. It's great. I love it.
No shoulder pads though, right?
No
Does he have
shoulder
shoulder
pads.
pads in 6? I
No,
don't
he
think
does not.
right?
That is pure dad strength under that jumpsuit.
George was the greatest guy.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. That was one of the only celebrity deaths. I had a moment that day when he died. I started fucking crying out of
I
nowhere.
cried too, dude. I cried too.
It just hit me out of nowhere. It was like a rainy day and I was like coming home from work and I just started crying.
Dude, he was the sweetest man. And he loved, like he adored, his life revolved around his participation in the Halloween franchise. When you talk to him, he was just, that's all he cared about, you know, like was the fans. And when I got a picture with him, he was just so accommodating. Now I met him almost 10 years ago and he, at that time, he still couldn't hear you that well. Couldn't see that well. He was an older gentleman. But I was like, holy shit, dude. You're Michael Myers from Halloween 4
Yeah.
and part of 6 and yeah, at the beginning of 5 because the footage is there, as he liked to say. He's like, so he could claim Halloween 4, 5, and 6, you know, as he always liked to say. But just such a sweet man. Yeah.
I'm truly bummed out that I didn't get to meet him. But yeah, sucks. he is one of my favorite Michael Myers actors for many reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. He cared a lot about it. He put a lot of I feel like every single guy that we know, for the most part, that put the mask on the coveralls and holding the knife cared a lot about it. But some of these guys, it was like the only thing they ever did that was precious to them. So, yeah, he was a very sweet old guy. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry you never got to meet him. He was great, though. But you've met Dick, though, right?
I didn't meet Dick Warlock. No. I mean, you can only spend so much money flying out to California. I mean, I would love to.
Well, you did meet John Carpenter, so.
John Carpenter, Nick Castle, Sasha Jensen, Alan Howarth, Tom Atkins. Man,
Tom's about to retire, man. Tom's about to retire. So
dude, he's getting up there too, man. He's like 80 something.
Dude,
like these people aren't going to be around forever.
I don't know if you know this, my friend. This is his last year. He's retiring. So
damn.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad I got to meet him. I shook his hand and I kept it short. I was like, I just want to thank you. Like, thanks, Tom. You're the man. And he said, no, thank you. And he was like genuine about it too. I was like,
he likes the Sierra Nevada IPA. I met him a second time in Syracuse, New York. He did a screening of Halloween 3 with Stacey Nulkin. And I walked up to him and I said, I don't really want a picture or an autograph. I just want to hang out with you. And can I get you anything? He's like, yeah, get me a Sierra Nevada torpedo. It was like a triple IPA. He's like in his fucking late 80s. And I went and got him one. It was just amazing.
I believe it is time for our number one picks.
Oh, God. You're going to put me on the fucking spot for this, aren't you?
Number one, what is the greatest kill in the Halloween franchise?
If we match up on this,
We won't.
are you sure?
Probably.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Kenneth Myers. Halloween 78.
Oh, man.
Weapon of choice, a butcher knife. Stabbed 9 times in the chest as she's topless brushing her hair.
I mean, it is iconic. It is the first kill of the series.
Also, it is the moment that literally influenced every single horror movie that came after it.
Yeah. Wow, it didn't even make my list. Or
You didn't even think about it, did you? This is the one shot, my friend. This is where Dean Cundy and John Carpenter really had to put their work to the test. There's so many reasons why this is at the top for me. From the first frame, we have the iconic shot of the Myers house and the definition inspired by Orson Welles' Touch of Evil. Cundy cinematography with the Panaglide married with Carpenter's eerie high synth score. It's the perfect build up to a kill. It's not the bloodiest and definitely not the most graphic of the series, but the impact is the strongest. You don't even see the knife penetrating the body, but it's channeling Psycho. It sets the tone for the rest of the film. Not only the rest of the film, but the rest of the slasher genre for the next 40 fucking years.
well said. Very valid. Yeah, it's iconic as shit. The only thing that throws me off whenever I see this scene is when the camera turns to the side and he's like stabbing the air. I'm like, why did they do that?
Well, I mean, I can't fill in the blank as to why they did that, but you can guess it the same way that I would guess it, is that they were just trying to make a movie, and they did it the way they did it. And it's like, if you look at a lot of the early Giallo films that they were inspired by, I would even dare say that like the majority of the cast and crew hadn't even seen it until that point. Maybe even John just saw a handful of them. They were just trying to replicate what they saw before that. And even like Psycho, which is the granddaddy of the slasher picture, the knife never ever touches Janet Leigh's body. And you have Janet Leigh's daughter there on set. Like, you have the new revolution of what this movie is supposed to be. I don't even care that you don't see the knife penetrating the body. I think it actually makes for a better opening because you hear the sound effect of it. Like I just talked about with Jeremy for Smile 2, where there are scenes where you hear, you don't see everything, but you feel the impact of it, right? That's what this opening was trying to do. And then, of course, Michael walks downstairs. His parents come out there. They're getting home, and Michael, lift the mask, high panning, fucking crane shot. The music, done deal.
Yeah.
Most iconic. I would say a more iconic kill than Mrs. Voorhees from Friday the 13th or anything before that leading up to 1978. So I have to dig in the back pocket and go, you got to respect the original, right? I'm the Scream guy. So you can't have anything that came after without respecting the original. So I'll be very interested to see what your number one is.
Oh boy. All right. So I know that that's a very valid pick for all of those reasons. It lays the groundwork for not only the Halloween franchise, but slashers in general. It's classic. However, when I made this list, I was like, these are my favorite kills. The ones that, for whatever reason, just hit, that they strike a chord with me. And for that reason, my number one pick is Halloween 6, the head spike through the wall. The opening kill. Yep. Justin is looking very confused and bewildered.
I have no words for this.
How come? It's a badass kill.
It's okay. This would have been honorable mentions for me, probably at best, because so I look at these in terms of like the importance to character and story.
Sure.
And that's just like a random nurse who doesn't mean shit. Like, I don't even know her fucking name.
I know, but like I said, that's how you made your list. I went off of these, what is my favorite? And it's that one because
I got to give you shit for it.
well, let me
it's
say,
a good kill. It's a good kill. Yes, he does do the head tilt and shit. It's a good kill. I do like it. I always look forward to it when I see it. Well shot. So I guess I can't hate you too much, but I got to give you some shit. I just gave you my number one, which is one of the most influential opening kills of all time in the history of cinema. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to give you one of the opening kill of the random nurse from Halloween 6.
okay, hey, like I said, it's we all make our list for different reasons. And when I saw this when I was a kid, it scared the absolute shit out of me. Well, for one, here you go, Mr. Throwback in importance. Kind of a callback to the original, Michael coming out of the shadows, much like the first movie. I just think it's
a mix of that. It's a mix of him coming out of the shadows and the Bob kill, because he lifts her up and then instead of like stabbing her into a wall, he puts her head into a spike. I do love the kill. Don't get me wrong, dude. I fucking love the kill.
And I love just these little subtle moments from George Wilbur where he's just looking at her and then he takes a second and takes another step back to get a better look. And then he does the head tilt.
He does do the head tilt. He does.
Yeah. I don't know. I love it. That's my list.
Well, there it is.
Suck
oh my
my
God.
ass.
Holy shit. Well, listen, this was, again, I'm not trying to shit on you too much, but I will throw some shade on you because I have to, because it's my job.
Hey,
but
bring it.
These lists are always very difficult to come through and come to a conclusion on, because especially when these franchises are so near and dear to our heart, and there's so much to go through, dude. And I feel like a lot of us have an emotional connection, much like you just did to the one that you mentioned with the nurse from Halloween 6, the character that means absolutely jack shit to anybody.
To you, maybe not.
Well, what the fuck is her name? What I don't know what her fucking name is.
I don't know either.
Nurse
Doesn't
number
matter.
4.
Doesn't matter.
Nurse number 7.
I don't have to explain myself to you or anybody.
Well, you absolutely do, because you brought me on. So that's the whole point, my friend. Now you have to explain your entire fucking reasoning to me.
Hey, I just did. It's a childhood memory. I think it still holds up. It's brutal.
That's like me.
Yeah,
I'm like, listen,
intense.
I don't give a fuck. I like the worst movies ever, and I'm just gonna keep telling you I like them. But no, I seriously, dude. No, major props. Like, in all legitimacy, I love you for picking that, because you're being straight up, man. Like, that's the one that rules the most for you. And I do love that kill. It would be probably in my top 25, because I do love that kill. 6 does have some gnarly ass badass kills though. Like, 6 is pretty rad in the fucking kill section. So.
I will say, if somebody came to me and they were like, hey, we want you to compile a list of 15 kills for this website, like the most important kills or whatever, that one would not be that high or possibly on the list at all. But like I said, I approach this as, what is my favorite kill?
Well, I'll make a call tomorrow.
One.
I'll make a call tomorrow for Fangoria, and I'll get you on the list, and then you can do the list again. How's that?
I'm down. Yeah.
But you have to include that one, though. You have to.
Oh, I definitely would. But like I said, it wouldn't be that high. But it's just what I like. I love it. Suck my ass. Whatever.
Suck the tip of the back of your balls. No, I'm all about it, dude. No, this was a fantastic time, man. I had a blast with you. Again, we're recording this. Brett, wait, oh my God, it's not your birthday yet, right? No, it's still 11:32.
Yes, it is.
Is it your birthday right now?
No, at midnight. But
At midnight. But we're, as of right now, recording this. We're still only 1 week away from Halloween.
I know.
So, yeah.
Dude, how has your spooky season been so far? If you're like me, it always goes by like way too fast. I wish I could just pause life and binge movies all day and enjoy the season, but
it's never like that for me.
Nope.
But I did get to screen a few movies this month at Alamo Draft House, the new 4K restoration of A Nightmare on Elm Street, and host that, which was a huge joy. Got to hang out with Andre Gower from the Monster Squad and screen the new 4K restoration of that film. And we are doing this Saturday our Dismember the Alamo Fest, which we do every year, which is 3 to 4 horror movies that no one knows about, that we will surprise the crowd with. And of course, we have our yard haunt that we're doing, which you've seen pictures of, my friend. So this year so far has been actually really great. It's difficult when you do it as a job, like you're scaring people for a job, and you have so much that you have to do with the podcast and your content and responsibilities, if you will. But I still am living it up right now. I'm wearing my fucking Halloween hat. I'm talking with you about the Halloween franchise. Like, so where else would I fucking rather be, man? Like, of course I'm living it the fuck up. I've got my Myers masks over there. Like, I have Michael Myers in the front of my house. It's always my favorite season. I always make sure that even though I get caught in the midst of it being like almost work to me, that I find enjoyment in it. Like, every home haunter feels the same way. Every horror host feels the same way. I mean, I liken it to Elvira, dude. Like, think about every fucking October for her back in the day. It was like,
Yeah, I bet she was like, hey guys, can I just enjoy this one and not have to work so much?
It's the same thing, man. I mean, but I live for it. Like, I don't know what I would do without it. I look forward to it. I start celebrating probably I misspoke. Mid-August.
Sure. Yeah.
Mid-August, I start celebrating and start watching movies that I can. But it's no longer like just sitting around the house and watching whatever movies I want and enjoying them. It's bringing whatever we can to our respective audiences and, giving them the best spooky content we possibly can. So once again, thank you, Phil, for bringing me onto the Spook House podcast, which always is a great joy for me and always a great opportunity to talk about the Halloween franchise. I just talked about the Halloween franchise a few weeks ago with the Scream with Ryan C. Showers podcast as well. Great show as well. And you should check them out, Phil. I'm sure Ryan would love to have you on that show as well.
Hell yeah, I will check them out. I saw that you did that episode. I have not listened yet, but I definitely will. But yeah, dude, this was a lot of fun. You were the first person I thought of when I was like, I just want to talk about the Halloween franchise, like go deep.
I tried to get Jeremy on because we just finished our episode on Smile 2, and he was like, dude, I'm old. And I'm like, dude, I'm older than you. And he's like,
he could have joined.
He wanted to.
He would have, if he knew what my number one pick was, he wouldn't have done the episode, but it's all good.
No, actually, he loves Halloween 6.
Okay.
Dude, he wears Halloween 6 and Halloween 5 shirts everywhere he fucking goes. And I harass him about it, so.
Hey, you keep doing what you're doing, Jeremy. My kind of guy. All right, if you are still watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out Justin's podcast, Epic Film Guys. I legitimately love his podcast. I listen to every episode. I guess we will go ahead and wrap it up, Justin, but thank you again, and thank you to everyone for listening. We will catch you next time.